Rhode Island, Mr. Magaziner, and also want to thank your comment regarding strategic planning. And I think this is an important conversation that we're beginning, and remind the gentleman this is just the beginning. And I look forward to working with you on this issue and coming up with real solutions. I now recognize Mr. Mackenzie, the gentleman from Pennsylvania.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and appreciate the fact that we are holding this hearing and focusing on this important topic in Congress. And it's very important that we as members don't get sidetracked and chase the shiny objects all the time, instead of actually focusing on the issue that is at hand and right in front of us in a committee like this. So do want to ask the testifiers and the members of the panel here today, what exactly is the role of the private industry participants that are out there, and then their interplay with the federal government?
I suppose I could start. I would say that the cable industry, the private industry, is the first line of defense for the national security of these networks. They're the ones who first detect faults. Then they are required to notify the FCC, which shares the information with the Coast Guard and DHS. Then the industry itself is expected to repair the cables, which is what happens. The industry's been around for about 150 years, and it's accustomed to failure. It's a fact. Accidents happen all the time. And so they've come up with multiple strategies for defeating this, not just denial or hardening the asset, but deterrence, but with cooperation with other seabed users, detection technologies that I would like to talk about with you, Mr. Luttrell, and several other strategies as well.
Now, the multiple companies that are in the private industry focusing on this type of work, is that what leads to the redundancy and resiliency for America, or is it multiple points of connection, or both? Can we talk about that?
It's everything. There are multiple companies, fortunately, so there's a lot of competition in that space. There are multiple cables. There are multiple landing points. And I'm sometimes asked what I worry about the most about a single point of failure. There is no single point of failure. There's no kill switch for the American internet. Trusted vendors are installed for the most sensitive equipment on these cables. But the areas of the landing station has been a concern of the industry. On the US East Coast, just 10 years ago, so many cables were concentrated in the New York, New Jersey area, and they've spent billions of dollars of building landing stations up and down the East Coast since then. Conversely, the West Coast is a potential problem. There's more herding of cables there. There are a lot of national marine sanctuaries up and down the coast of California. They're essentially a no-go zone for the cable industry. And if we were going to worry about a national strategy for resilience, that's an area where there should be some improvement.
And so what I'm hearing, though, is that the private industry, that their role in this subsea cable space is actually a huge benefit for us, probably a competitive advantage to other countries around the world that don't have the technology companies that are doing this type of work in this space. So that's something we want to continue to foster. We don't want to impede that kind of private sector activity. But there is, you're saying, a potential space for the federal government to step in. So in a national strategy conversation, is it something that we should be looking at from a government perspective on the whole, or just in targeted areas where there are problems?
Well, I'm a law professor, so I have to answer, it depends. And so I think if you look at different components of the undersea cable issue, we'll see a different makeup of where we need to see private actors taking the lead and the government taking the lead. To start, I would recommend that for the FCC licensing process, we need to see resiliency planning as a part of that application. If stuff does hit the fan, who are these cable owners going to turn to? It's still the case that we have Google, Meta, and other of our hyperscalers turning to ships owned by China to repair their cables. And we've seen proposals, for example, to ban Chinese-affiliated entities from laying, maintaining, repairing US cables. I think that's a wise position to take because the odds, for example, of China when they're repairing a repeater, installing some malicious add-ons to that, we don't know just how high or how likely that may be. And so I think having an explicit ban on Chinese intervention on this piece of critical infrastructure makes a lot of sense.
Great, well, thank you. I see my time is about to expire, but I appreciate the point of rebuilding and bringing back American shipbuilding. That is critical to our national security in so many areas, not just here with the subsea cables, but appreciate you raising that today. And again, thank you all for being here today.